It usually starts the same way for almost everyone. The lights are off, the room is quiet, your body is tired, and you finally lie down hoping to get some rest after a long day. For a few moments, everything feels peaceful. But then something strange happens. Instead of falling asleep, your mind suddenly becomes louder than it was all day. Thoughts begin to appear one after another. You start remembering conversations from years ago. You replay something embarrassing you said earlier in the day. You wonder if you made the right decision about something in your life. And before you know it, your brain is analyzing problems, imagining future scenarios, and asking questions that never seemed important during the day. If this has ever happened to you, you are definitely not alone. Millions of people experience this exact same thing almost every night. It can feel confusing because during the day your mind may feel normal, focused, and even calm. But the moment the night begins and the world around you slows down, your brain suddenly shifts into overdrive. Many people describe it as if their mind becomes a completely different machine once the lights go out. So why does this happen? Why does the brain seem to wait until nighttime to start digging through memories, worries, and unfinished thoughts? The answer lies deep inside the way our brains are designed to process information and emotions. Throughout the day, your brain is constantly busy dealing with external information. You are talking to people, looking at screens, moving through places, solving problems, reacting to sounds, and making decisions every few seconds. Your brain is basically operating in what scientists call task mode. In this mode, your attention is focused outward on the world around you. You are responding to things in real time, and your mind doesn't have much space to wander too far. But when night comes, something changes. The world becomes quieter. The distractions begin to disappear. The conversations stop. The notifications slow down. Your body becomes still. And when all those outside signals fade away, your brain finally has the chance to switch into a completely different mode of operation. This mode is known in psychology as the default mode network. It is a group of brain regions that become highly active when you are not focused on any specific external task. Instead of processing the outside world, your brain begins turning inward. It starts reviewing memories, analyzing emotions, imagining possibilities, and connecting events that happened earlier in the day or even years in the past. In other words, when the world gets quiet, your brain finally gets time to think. But here's the interesting part. The brain is not simply replaying random thoughts for no reason. In many ways, it is actually trying to solve problems and organize your life experiences. During the night, your mind often begins sorting through unresolved situations. Maybe something someone said bothered you earlier, but you didn't fully process it at the time. Maybe you made a decision that your brain is still evaluating. Maybe there is uncertainty about the future that your mind is trying to understand. Because there are no daytime distractions to interrupt this process, these thoughts suddenly become much louder and more noticeable. Imagine being in a busy city during the day, where thousands of sounds are happening at once. Now imagine that same city at 3 in the morning, when almost everything is silent. Even the smallest noise suddenly becomes very clear. Your thoughts at night work in a similar way. They were always there in the background during the day, but you simply couldn't hear them over the noise of everyday life. There is also another powerful factor that makes nighttime thinking feel more intense. At night, your brain becomes slightly more emotional and sensitive. As the day ends, the brain's ability to regulate emotions begins to weaken a little. This means worries can feel bigger, regrets can feel heavier, and small concerns can suddenly seem like massive problems. This combination creates the perfect environment for overthinking. A quiet world, a reflective brain mode, and heightened emotional sensitivity all come together in the same moment. But the real question is this: if the brain is simply trying to process thoughts and solve problems, why do these late-night thoughts often become so negative or stressful? To understand that, we need to look at how the brain evolved to protect us. and why the human mind is naturally wired to focus more on potential threats than peaceful memories. And once you understand this ancient survival system, the strange behavior of your brain at night will start to make a lot more sense. To understand why nighttime thoughts often become stressful or negative, we need to go back thousands of years to a time when the human brain was evolving in a very different world. Today, we worry about emails, relationships, social situations, and future plans. But for most of human history, a brain had a much more important job: survival. Early humans lived in environments where danger could appear at any moment. A strange sound in the dark could mean a predator nearby. A mistaken judgment could lead to injury or death. Because of this, the brain slowly developed a powerful system designed to detect threats as quickly as possible. This system helped humans stay alive. But it also created something psychologists call the negativity bias. Negativity bias means the brain naturally pays more attention to problems, risks, and unpleasant memories than positive ones. Imagine your brain as a security guard. Its main job is not to make you happy. Its job is to keep you safe. And the easiest way to do that is by constantly scanning for things that could go wrong. During the day, this bias is usually balanced by distractions and activities. You are working, talking, eating, moving around, and dealing with tasks that require your focus. Even if a negative thought appears, something else quickly replaces it. But at night, when everything becomes quiet and your brain enters that reflective mode, the security guard inside your mind suddenly has nothing else to watch. So it begins searching through your memories and future possibilities for potential problems. This is why your brain often replays awkward conversations or embarrassing moments right before sleep. Your mind is not trying to torture you. It is actually running simulations, asking questions like, did I handle that situation correctly? Could that mistake cause problems later? Should I act differently next time? From an evolutionary perspective, this process once helped humans learn from mistakes and avoid danger in the future. But in modern life, the same system can become exaggerated. Instead of preparing you for survival, it can trap you in endless loops of overthinking. Another reason nighttime thoughts become so intense is because of how the brain processes emotions when you are tired. Throughout the day, a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex helps regulate emotions and control impulses. This area is responsible for logical thinking and rational decision-making. It helps you step back and say, that problem isn't as big as it seems. However, as the day goes on and your brain becomes tired, the prefrontal cortex slowly loses some of its control. Meanwhile, another brain structure called the amygdala, which is responsible for emotional reactions, becomes more active. The result is a strange imbalance. The emotional part of your brain becomes louder, while the logical part becomes quieter. This means small worries can suddenly feel overwhelming. A minor mistake can start to feel like a disaster. And simple questions about the future can spiral into endless what-if scenarios. Scientists have actually studied this effect in sleep experiments. They found that when people are sleep-deprived or thinking late at night, their emotional responses can become up to 60% stronger than normal. In other words, the same thought that feels manageable during the day can feel much more intense at night. There is also another hidden factor that makes nighttime overthinking worse. During the day, your brain constantly receives signals from the outside world that help keep it grounded in the present moment. Sounds, conversations, movements, and visual information all help anchor your attention. But when you lie in bed in a dark, quiet room, those signals disappear. With fewer external inputs, the brain turns even deeper into its internal world of memories and imagination. And the human imagination is extremely powerful. Your brain can replay a moment from the past with vivid detail. It can also create future scenarios that feel almost real. Sometimes these imagined futures are exciting and hopeful. But often, because of the brain's negativity bias, they lean toward worry and uncertainty. This is why nighttime thinking often jumps between past regrets and future fears. One moment you are replaying something awkward that happened 3 years ago. The next moment you are imagining something that might happen 5 years from now. It feels chaotic, but the brain is actually following a pattern. It is reviewing the past to learn from mistakes and scanning the future to prepare for possible challenges. But here is where things become interesting. While overthinking at night can feel frustrating or exhausting, some psychologists believe it also reveals something important about the human mind. In many ways, this late-night mental activity is connected to creativity, self-reflection, and problem-solving. And that raises a fascinating question. What if the same brain process that causes midnight anxiety is also responsible for some of the most creative ideas, personal insights, and life-changing realizations humans experience? To understand this surprising connection, we need to explore what happens when the brain enters its deepest state of reflection and imagination. While late-night overthinking often feels frustrating, the same mental process can also unlock something surprisingly powerful inside the human brain. The quiet hours of the night create a mental environment that rarely exists during the day. With fewer distractions, fewer responsibilities, and fewer external signals competing for your attention, the brain enters one of its most reflective states. This is the same state where creativity, deep thinking, and personal insight often appear. Throughout history, many writers, scientists, and thinkers have described getting their best ideas late at night. The world is silent, the mind is wandering, and suddenly, a new connection appears between ideas that never seemed related before. The brain begins linking memories, experiences, and knowledge in ways that normal daytime thinking often does not allow. This happens because the brain is extremely good at pattern recognition. During the day, it focuses mostly on immediate tasks. But at night, when your mind is free to wander, it begins connecting pieces of information stored across different parts of memory. Sometimes these connections appear as worries or questions, but sometimes they appear as solutions. You might suddenly understand a situation in your life differently. You might realize why something bothered you earlier in the day, or you might come up with a completely new idea that never crossed your mind before. Psychologists sometimes call this process mental integration. Your brain is taking scattered experiences and slowly organizing them into a clearer picture of your life. However, there is a delicate balance. When this process stays calm and reflective, it can lead to powerful insights and creative thinking. But when emotions become too strong, reflection can quickly turn into rumination. Rumination is when the brain gets stuck, repeating the same negative thoughts over and over again without reaching a solution. Instead of learning from the past, the mind keeps replaying it. Instead of preparing for the future, the brain keeps imagining worst-case scenarios. This is when overthinking becomes exhausting. The good news is that understanding this process can actually help you manage it. One simple reason nighttime thoughts become overwhelming is because the brain dislikes unfinished mental loops. If something feels unresolved, the mind keeps returning to it again and again. Think of it like an open tab on a computer browser. As long as the tab stays open, your brain keeps checking it. But once it feels completed or acknowledged, the mind can finally close it. This is why many psychologists suggest writing down your thoughts before going to sleep. When you move an idea from your mind onto paper, your brain receives a signal that the thought has been recorded and processed. It doesn't need to keep repeating it endlessly. Another helpful technique involves shifting your attention from analysis to observation. Instead of fighting your thoughts or trying to force them away, simply notice them. Imagine your thoughts as clouds moving across the sky. They appear, drift past, and eventually disappear. When you observe thoughts without reacting to them, they often lose their emotional intensity. But perhaps the most important thing to understand is that nighttime overthinking is not a sign that something is wrong with your brain. In fact, it shows that your mind is constantly trying to understand your experiences, solve problems, and protect you from potential risks. Your brain is working exactly as it was designed to. The challenge is that this ancient survival system was built for a world very different from the one we live in today. Thousands of years ago, reflecting on potential dangers could help a person survive the next day. Today, that same system sometimes focuses on social worries, personal regrets, or imagined problems that may never actually happen. Yet the mechanism itself is still incredibly powerful. The same brain that replays awkward memories at night is also capable of deep self-awareness, creativity, and long-term planning. It is constantly searching for meaning in your experiences and trying to guide you toward better decisions. So the next time you find yourself lying awake while your thoughts begin to wander through memories, questions, and possibilities, remember something important. Your brain is not trying to keep you awake. It is simply trying to understand your world. And sometimes, in the quiet darkness of the night, when the rest of the world finally slows down, your mind gets its first real chance to speak.